What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of Couch Confessions. As you can see, this is not a big yellow couch. My big yellow couch is outside. I got home real late, but I promised the first story tonight. So, here we go. It's going to be entitled Ty Lost a Friend, or What I Thought Was a Friend, over $50. Now, mind you, I don't owe her $50. She don't owe me $50, but the friendship ended over a $50 situation, okay? So, I met this friend. Her name is Naomi. We met in 2009, and we had been friends, since then up until about maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. And so we were working at this call center, and I used to do and still do acting. At this time, we were doing background work where I was, and I invited her to come. So we started doing that. We started doing that a lot, so much so that we didn't even want to go to our regular job. So eventually, I got fired, and then she wound up, I don't know, quitting, I guess. And we were doing the working as extras on the sets and stuff. And then I got a job at All Connect, and I told her to apply, and she got a job there too. So we worked there for a few years, on again, off again. For me, she worked there a consecutive 7, 8 years or whatever, but for me, it was on again, off again. So I was still to adulting, but that's a different story. So anyway, we our friendship was always kind of on again, off again, and not to the fact to where it was off again to where we didn't like each other. It's just that, life happens and you go your separate ways. Like I said, I was slow to adulting, so a couple of times I had to live with her, and things like that. So I say all of that to set the story up. Just so you know, I was the friend that was always lacking. I was the friend that always was lacking. I would get fired or I would just up and quit. I was really irresponsible growing up. To where I am today, I was really irresponsible, and I had kids, so it was just not a lifestyle that I would recommend. Like, you don't just up and quit your job because you don't like people, and that's the stupid shit I used to do. So I would wind up sometimes having to stay with her, or whatever. And even when I was getting my life together, and trying to get back to where I needed to be, I lived with her a couple of times, maybe 4 or 5 times on and off or whatever. So she was a good friend to me, so I thought. Okay, so we also used to do like party promoting and stuff like that for this club that's no longer in Atlanta, but it was called SOs, and we worked with a guy named Black C. And Black C reached out to her and asked about me, so she put me in contact with him. And we're all on the phone trying to get this stuff, flowing or whatever. So in the mix of us working with him, we meet a woman named Chantel. Now, Chantel, I never liked her. I never liked her energy. It was just something about her I didn't like. And I used to always say she had like old hands. She smoked cigarettes. She had smoker hands. You know how the veins be popping out in in people's hands who smoke. And my grandmother's hands used to look like that. And she smoked Virginia Slims menthol lights. Okay, or like a quart in a week. So I always equated like hands like that. There's something on my eyelash like that to old smokers' hands. So I was like, the girl with the old hands, like, I don't like her, right? So, going through that, like, for whatever reason, me and Naomi fell out the first time. And I hadn't talked to her for like a couple of months. And she decided that she was going to come to my house and want to fight me. Now I'm watching Single Ladies. I just moved in my apartment. I'm watching Single Ladies. I don't even have any furniture. I think I was sitting on the floor with the one TV I had. And she came banging on my door. And I'm like, girl, what is it? So I go outside and I'm talking to her, and she was like, you been talking shit about me? No. And she was like, because Chantel, I said, stop right there. I said, you finna tell me about something a bitch told you that I don't even fucking like? She was like, yeah, she said that you be sitting around talking shit about me. I said, Naomi, I don't even like this girl. Why would I sit around and talk shit about somebody who I do like with a bitch I don't like? And at the time, I was running the street team. The bitch worked for me. What the fuck I look like talking shit about somebody with old hands? But that's neither here nor there. But that's a key part of the story. So, time goes on. Me and Naomi start talking again. She has her son, and lo and behold, moving around and doing all this kind of stuff, I wound up living with her again, and I'm taking care of her son while she's at work and doing all kind of stuff. Like, I'm talking to her baby dad like he my baby dad. When you come pick up your son, because I got places to be, shit like that. It was that type of friendship. So I thought. So, time goes on. I'm still doing a little extra thing. I might get a, part in a play here or there and whatnot. And then there was a point in time when I moved back to New Orleans. And when I moved back to Atlanta, I stayed in Naomi's house. And I worked at All Connect again. So I was like, just let me stay there till March or whatever. No, I said July. I said, let me just stay here till July. And I think it was March because it was cold. And, I'll be gone. Second week of July, I had my apartment or I had my condo or whatever. So I moved out. But I did stay there for a while and I caught the bus back and forth to work. Everything was fine. Friendship was fine. And then for whatever reason, we just, life happened. Just stopped speaking to people. Years go by or months and stuff go by. But this last time, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This last time we got back together, I could see on Instagram that she had been changing. It looked like she had got her energy together. Everything was supposed to be flowing, good for her, whatever. And I told her the things that I wanted to do. She was telling me about stuff she wanted to do. So we got back together and was trying to do some stuff together. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me promoting our little stuff that we had going on and whatnot. And we had this show called Hookah Hump Day, and it turned into something else. And, we were working on things. So I thought. So she had this guy reach out to her. And she did some promotional work with him. And he wanted to do, from what I was told, he wanted to do promotional work with both of us. And I'm like, okay, so what is it? So she's explaining the situation to me. And I'm still confused. Like, I've seen videos of what he has going on. And I was still confused. Like, I didn't know if it was a game show, if he was promoting a car wash. I just didn't know. Like, it was just all over the place. Like, I mean, I saw one video and it was supposed to be who could wash the car the best. But it was the same car. So I'm like, if the car's not dirty, if somebody's already washed it, how do you judge this? Like, what kind of questions are we supposed to be asking these people? And I guess he wanted us to do a show that was asking people about his brand and all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't have no problem with that. I don't mind helping people out. So I was like, well, what kind of questions does he want us to ask? Because I'm so confused about what his whole deal is, like his whole setup. And she was like, well, he sent the questions and I didn't like him, so I sent them back and he's supposed to get back with me about different questions. And I was like, okay, cool. When I tell y'all, like, weeks went by and we didn't hear from this man. So in the mix of that going on with him, we're still doing our thing. And she has a conversation with me about her feeling like I don't help her out enough with like the editing and all of that kind of stuff, which is true. I did not help her out because I didn't have the footage. Now, I'm not making excuses, but I can't sit in somebody else's house. I have kids. I have to go home to my house. I can't sit in your house and act like we editing and we wind up doing other stuff. And a lot of the times that would happen, like I would go over there to edit and we would wind up doing other stuff. But a few things that was like towards the end of the friendship, what was going on with me was I was getting a little tired of waiting on her. Like, we would set up a time to go to the mall to do our interviews for our show. And I would get there like 9 o'clock. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to drop my kids off at school at about 8:30 and I'd be at the house about 9 o'clock. I would get there and she would still be like in her bonnet and her robe, not ready to go. We're supposed to be at the mall for 11 o'clock when it opens so we could get in, get out, and edit. Right? So by the time she got dressed, sometimes it'd be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now I got to pick up my kids for 6. Your son got something to do at 4. Like, what are we going to be doing in these 2 hours? Nothing. So because she had all of the equipment, the editing would fall on her because she had it. Now, I told her I didn't mind editing. I don't have a problem with editing. Just airdrop me the footage. So I go ahead and do it. Well, do you have the editing equipment? I went out and I purchased the editing equipment. I purchased a camera after we had our conversation. I bought all of this stuff, right, to help her out because she felt like I wasn't helping. I don't mind doing that, okay? But you said you had the stuff and we was going to use your stuff. But all of a sudden I didn't help you enough. Cool, no problem. Let me go ahead and grab this stuff so we can both do it, right? I can't edit something I don't have. So couldn't edit the show. I would always ask her to airdrop it to me so I can go ahead and do it when I get home. Well, do you know how to do it? And it would always be, well, I'm going to just do it. Okay, cool. She would, for me, it would feel like I was wasting my time doing things. Like, I would say, okay, well, I'll do the Canva. Now, one time I did take a minute to do the Canva, but I got 4 kids, so that's not an excuse, but I was still doing it. Like, I would be on the phone with her and I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing the Canva right now. you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, I already did it. Well, why would you ask me to do it? I've been working on this for like an hour. I'm almost finished. Like, why would you ask me to do something if you've already done it? And then she would complain about me not helping her. So that was kind of pissing me off too. I didn't say nothing. I'm not, you know, I know how some people are. So I just was like, whatever. Fast forward, a couple of weeks go by, and we have another conversation. And I told her, I said, listen, I just don't like the fact that my time is being wasted. Like, I'm waiting on you for hours, which is not, it's cool if we going out somewhere, but if we trying to get work done, we need to get work done. And that kind of made me mad. And then if I'm telling you I'm working on something and then you turn around and tell me you did it already, that's another thing that's kind of pissing me off. And then she was, oh, you know, her saying, oh, I don't help her. Okay. Well, I'm not going to keep doing stuff if you've already done it. That doesn't make sense. So she calls me one day. I was at work one Saturday morning. And she calls me and goes, I think that we should just work on our own thing. And I was like, all right, cool. That's fine. I don't argue with people. They don't want to work with me. I'm cool with that. Do your own thing. More blessings to you. More power to you. All of that, right? So I was like, all right, cool. So the next week, the following week after we decided that we weren't going to film together anymore, that guy reaches back out to her and he reaches out to me too. I didn't see it. She texts me and goes, hey, so-and-so reached out to us and he wants us to do these questions. I'm like, all right, cool. This is where the fallout happens. He pays us money to do, he pays us $100 or pays her $100. She gives me $50. I'm thinking this man knows that he's paying the both of us. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and do whatever. He gives us promotional stuff to wear. I, you know, wore his shirt in a couple of my videos, whatever. I didn't really know how to promote it because when people ask me to do something for them, a lot of my followers ask questions like, what is that? Blah, blah, blah. So I just wore a little shirt. I didn't really say much about it or whatever. So we get into him hitting us up in our DMs about the show or whatever. We're not filming together. I'm thinking she told this man that. And I'm also thinking that, well, if she didn't tell him, maybe she's going to be a grown-up and we're going to get this filming done for him. And then we'll go back to not doing, you know, whatever. Because, you know, when friends have their little disagreements, whatever. I said, well, I'm talking to her. And I was like, well, is this something he wants us to do together? Or is it something he wants us to do separately? Because mind you, I've never spoken to him. So I'm asking her because this is her contact. She goes, well, that's something you need to reach out to him and ask yourself. I was like, all right, cool. I'm just trying to be respectful because this is your people, right? This is your contact. So I hit him up and I was like, you know, give me a number or I'll send you my number, like, so we can discuss how you want this to go. So I get on the phone with him and I'm talking to him and he was like, okay, you know, I just want y'all to ask these questions, you know, just try to get them together about, you know, his such and such, whatever he had going on. And I was like, all right, cool. So I relayed this message back to her. She says to me, maybe that's something he wants you to do, but I'm talking to him about something different. I said, okay, let me get some clarification and I'll hit you back. So I texted him back and I said, is this something you want me to do by myself or is this something you want us to do together? He said, no, I want y'all to do it together. I again relayed this message back to her. And she goes, well, no, that's not what he's telling me. He's telling me he wants me to do something different. So I asked him, I said, are you talking to her about something different? Because when I'm relaying this message to her, it seems like she doesn't want to do it. And he was like, no, I'm not talking to her about anything different. Okay, cool. So I call him and I'm talking to him about how he wants this thing to go. And I again tell her, and then she again tells me the same thing. He's talking to me about something different. I said, okay. So later on that day, I called him back and I asked him, I said, did she tell you that we're not filming together? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't mind helping you, but we're not working together right now. So I don't know if she told you that because you keep saying that you want us to do this together, but she's saying that you're talking to her about something different. And he was like, I'm not talking to her about anything different. And he was like, why y'all not filming together? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. He wanted to get out in the business. It's my business. I tell it to who I want to. So I told him what happened. And I told him, I said, well, she felt like I wasn't helping her enough. She felt like I wasn't doing my part as far as editing, you know. And I told him, I said, well, and I told her that I had editing equipment, but she never sent the video and I can't edit something I don't have. He then goes and calls her on three-way and she claims that I was throwing her under the bus. I said, I don't know what part of the conversation you came in on, but I threw myself under the bus and I told him that it was because of me that we were not filming. So I don't know what you heard or how you heard it, but that's not what I said. And then she was like, okay. And then we're on all three on the phone and it's a real uncomfortable situation. You know, some shit shit just don't feel right. You like, what the fuck is going on here? That's how it felt to me. I said, listen, I'm finna send you his money back because I'm not doing shit with him. Like, that's some messy shit. It's mess where don't really need to be no mess. He asked me a question. I told him the answer. Or she couldn't understand why I told him we weren't filming together. Because we're not. Like, I mean, you acted like you were working on something different with him. And when we all three got on the phone, he was telling her something different. So he was lying and saying he wasn't telling her something different. And he was. So I said, this is just too much. So I sent her the money back, which is the $50, right? Which is why I say we're not friends no more for $50. She calls me the next day, like I knew she would, because it's the type of person she is. She got to digest shit. I handle shit right then and there. If I ain't going to fuck with you, I ain't going to fuck with you. Because that's just how I'm feeling. Like, you was feeling this way the day before, right? So she calls me the next day and she goes, I don't think I can fuck with you no more. That shit was shady. You threw me under the bus. I said, I didn't throw you under the bus. I told you exactly what the fuck I said. And I said, there's no reason for me to throw you under the bus when I was the one wrong. Like, I did not help you, but you also did not send the footage to me for me to edit. So, like, there's no way I can help you if I don't have it. So she was like, well, everybody been telling me. I said, everybody has told me about you too, how you talk, whatever you say about me. And people have told me for years that she wasn't my friend. So always listen to people who looking on the outside, looking into your friendship. People used to always say, that girl is not your friend. Anytime somebody compliments you, she has something negative to say. She don't never compliment you. She don't never do this. She don't never do that. Which wasn't true, because she would seem genuine when she would say, oh, I'm happy for you. Or, congratulations or something like that. It would seem genuine to me because I'm believing that you're my friend because I'm your friend, right? Anyway, that's a whole nother rant. But anyway, so get back to what she was saying. She goes and tells me, that's why I always believe Chantel. This was 10 years ago. If you always believe this girl, why would you continue to fuck with me? Because I know one good thing. If I always believed the bitch was talking shit about me, like you believe this girl when she said that I was talking shit about you, I would have never fucked with you no more. But I didn't believe them motherfuckers because you was my friend, right? I was your friend, supposedly, and you gonna believe a bitch I ain't even like? That was it for me. I was like, you know what? I told her, you know what? You could have ended the friendship then when you believed that bitch. Because when you believed her, you stopped being my friend. Because common sense should have told you, bitch, I'm not sitting around talking to a bitch I don't like. Anybody that know me, if I don't like you, bitch, I don't like you. I ain't fucking with you. Period. So for you to sit here and tell me almost 15 years later that you believed that bitch 10 years ago, then you should have been her friend and stayed her friend and left me the fuck alone. I would have figured it the fuck out without you. And at the end of the day, like, this bitch was really there for me. Like, she really helped me. So I thought she was helping me. She could have been helping me just to talk shit about me. I don't know. I mean, I ain't never pegged her for that type, but you never know about people, especially when she calls me and tells me some shit like that. Like, bitch, you been believing that hoe? Why the fuck would I sit around and talk to you about anybody when you know for a fact can't nobody talk shit about you in my face? I have brought that shit to your doorstep. You might want to have a conversation with so-and-so because they have a problem with you. Because what you're not going to do is ever talk about somebody I fuck with in my face and I let that shit slide. No, bitch, we're going to change the subject or it's about to get real ugly in here. And anybody that's my friend know that shit. And that bitch knew that. So that's why I couldn't understand why she said that. But that was a wrap for me. Like, I didn't block her, but I definitely restricted her access to my Instagram and all of that kind of stuff. She still watched my Facebook stories, though. But at the end of the day, I said all of that to say this. The friendship ended over the $50 and the fact that she believed the bitch from 10 years ago. Ain't no way in hell I'm finna fuck with you if I believe another hoe there. If I believe wholeheartedly that you was talking shit about me. Absolutely not. I wish her nothing but the best. I wish her blessings, peace, love, happiness, all of that. Money, all of that. But at the end of the day, when somebody show you who they are, you have to believe them. She never showed me this side of her. Like, bitch, you really thought that? And I asked her that. I said, you really believe that? You really believed her from 10 years ago, then you should have stayed over on that side. But there's no way. Like, I would never still to this day let people talk shit about her in my face. But at the end of the day, I know she's probably over there talking shit about me. And that's fine. But just make sure when if she ain't telling you the true story, if you feel like you missing a piece, just give me a ring-a-ding-ding. Because I ain't never had a problem with telling my business. Because I ain't got no reason to lie. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. A lot of people don't have accountability, and I do. So that's pretty much that on that. That's why I'm not friends with her no more. If you wondering why, y'all was real good friends. No, I was a real good friend to her. And I thought she was being a real good friend to me. But lo and behold, for whatever reason, she believed somebody that, and it prevented her from being a real good friend to me, even though she did real good friend shit. I don't know. But, that's neither here nor there. Y'all be blessed. I'll catch y'all next week.